everyone. I'm Denise Joswack, co-chair of the Alliance of International Aromatherapists Research Academy, and I'd like to welcome you to the June 1st, 2026 presentation. The AIA Research Academy is made possible by a generous grant from the Gatfase Foundation. If you would like to be a member of the AIA Research Academy, simply sign up at the link that I'm going to put in the chat in just a minute, and you'll hear about upcoming webinars and have access to all of the previous and future presentations. I'll put that in. Oh, it's in. All right. And then let's see. There we go. Tonight's webinar is giving a platform presentation presented by Dr. Bruce Boynton. Dr. Boynton has authored over 100 books, chapters, articles, and abstracts. He holds a master's degree in epidemiology and has assisted multiple physicians, graduate students, technicians, and authors around the world become published. Bruce is especially enthusiastic about assisting aromatherapists to become researchers. He is a former AIA Director and was just named the editor of the AIA journal Aromatics in Action. Bruce is also co-chair of the AIA Research Academy. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you, Denise. This lecture is about giving a platform presentation, and you may wonder, what does that mean? What's a platform presentation, and what's the platform? That's just academic jargon. There are two kinds of presentations that you may make at a conference. One is a poster presentation, which we've discussed quite a bit before. And a platform presentation means that you get up behind the podium and you talk to an audience and show slides and discuss your research. And then at the end, you only have about 10 minutes. And at the end, people will ask you questions. Next slide. So we're going to talk about two or three things. One is what really goes on during a presentation, things that you don't read often, but this is really how it is. Next slide. And then theoretical application, stuff that you probably should know, but you don't. And after we talk about that, we're going to talk about what your slides should look like. And at the end, we're going to make a slide deck that you might present. Next slide. Okay. You do a research. You have a very positive result. Your mentor says, you should present this. Why don't you make an abstract and send it into a conference? And then you wait, and after a few weeks, you get a message. You have been selected for a platform presentation. So you're excited. This is the big time. Your career, your career is kicking into high gear, and researchers want to hear what you have to say. You're excited. And then the next stage is, next slide. Oh my God. I'm so anxious. What if I mess up? Nobody cares about me. What if I exceed the time limit and get kicked off the stage? What if they find out that I really don't know anything? What if the audience asks questions I can't answer? Next slide. And this is what really happens. You will be anxious. You will feel awkward. You will worry about giving your presentation within the time limit, and you will be asked questions which you don't know the answer. This will happen. So you have to develop strategies to deal with this. Next slide. Maybe you should have a drink. I'll tell you a brief story. I started doing research in medical school, biochemical research, after my freshman year. And in my sophomore year, I was I was selected for uh, a, platform presentation at a big international conference. I was scared. I did have a drink. It didn't help. I also did some push-ups. That didn't help. You might take some deep breaths. These might work for you. They didn't work for me. But if you plan, then you can do this. And one of my mentors had me give my presentation to him under a stopwatch at least 10 times. After I did that, I knew I was going to be on time. I knew I could give everything that I had to say within the time limit. Uh, and I also felt much more confident. The other thing is have your mentor attend your presentation to field the questions that you can't answer. And this is a sort of a dark thing in academics. Uh, there are a lot of junior academics from prestigious institutions who think that they can um, get their reputation by shooting you down. That's unfortunate, but your mentor will know this trick and be able to shut them down. So, one, practice your presentation with the stopwatch and have your mentor answer the questions you can't answer. Next slide. Okay, what not to do. Don't read your presentation. If the audience wanted to read it, they could wait for the article to come out. Reading your presentation, especially in a monotone, is boring. I had a very bright fellow in a fellowship program that I was managing, and she thought that she needed to speak in a monotone because it would be more scientific. It's boring. Let the audience see your personality. Look at them. Um, if you want to walk away from the podium and point to things on the screen, that's fine. Let them see who you are, not just read it in a monotone. Next slide. Okay, what does the audience really want to hear? Do they want to hear advancements in science? Or I want to treat my clients differently, a new method, or new blends in aromatherapy? Unfortunately, what is the truth is people in these conferences, they get sort of burned out fairly early after 3 or 4 presentations. They want to meet their friends that they've worked with before, and they're tired and want to be entertained. So again, if you read your presentation in a monotone, they're going to be more tired. One of the times I went to Mexico City and I gave a presentation on bronchopulmonary dysplasia, which is a chronic lung disease that newborns get. And um, I just sort of acted out. I walked around, I pointed at things, I used different inflections in my voice, and people said, "Wow, that was good." It was because I was entertaining them. Next slide. The first, during the classical period, that is classic Greece and Rome, um, one of the things that all young men in from wealthy families studied was rhetoric, because the way you speak could advance you in political life, or it could uh, take another you could take another stance on issues. If you remember Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, after Caesar's assassination, both Marcus Brutus and another speaker get up, and they have different approaches to uh, to the speech and to Caesar's death. And uh, you can see um, in the play the audience shifting from one place to another based on the language and the points that the speaker makes. And so Aristotle, in his book on rhetoric, said if you speak to an audience, there's three factors involved: the speaker, that's you, the topic, and the audience. And the goal of the speaker is to convince the audience to view the topic in a new way. So you've got to convince them. Next slide. Okay, let's go through what a slide deck for a platform presentation should look like. On the first slide, you'll have the title of your presentation, your name, your affiliation, what like you're in AIA, and you might even put an image, but you don't have to on this slide, on that first slide. Next slide. Okay, you have to pick out a good title for your presentation. The title should describe what you did in your research, but it should be general enough to be interesting with a wide appeal. You want to gather together enough, a certain number of people, and don't use a lot of words that nobody knows, because they'll be bored. Next slide. Okay, are these good titles? Do you understand what the presentation is about? These are two, the one on the left is my thesis. The effects of aqueous extract of cigarette smoke on phagocytosis associated metabolism of alveolar macrophages. Does anyone understand that, what that is? What is phagocytosis associated metabolism? What are alveolar macrophages? What are aqueous extracts of cigarette smoke? So a more general a specialist is going to understand this, but the general public will not. Okay. After I finished everything and I was in fellowship, I did the research on the right. The deleterious effect of FPL 55712 on gas exchange in the Basenji Greyhound dog model of asthma. What is that about? What are Basenji Greyhounds? What is the dog model of asthma? And what the heck is FPL 55712? That's actually what it is an experimental drug from a pharmaceutical company. I actually asked AI if they knew what FPL 55712 was, and next slide, you get the answer. FPL 55712, also known as Boynton. So even AIA doesn't know what it is. So that was not the ideal title. Next slide. What about this one title? Lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, inhalation decreases pain in post-operative patients. Well, anyone can understand that. That's going to draw more people in. Next slide. Should I tell a joke before my presentation? No, this is all business. No jokes, no stories, just get on with it. And now there are situations, like if you're talking um, not a formal presentation, not about research, but if you're trying to convince uh, the elected members of the town board to take a certain attitude towards a unhealthy situation, you might tell stories or you might tell a joke, but this is not that sort of situation. And you don't have to introduce yourself. The moderator of the session will introduce you. Next slide. Okay, the second slide. That should in that should include the background to your research. You want to motivate your presentation. You did research because there's this problem, and you are trying to understand or find a better way or something in your research. You also should put key definitions, concepts, and a short, very short scientific background. Next slide. Okay, on the third slide should be your hypothesis in one sentence. Now, I know we've already had a presentation on hypotheses, but I can't emphasize this enough. If the hypothesis is not clear, then the research and the presentation will not be clear either. Next slide. So, what makes up a good hypothesis? It should be short, it should be clear, and most important, it should be testable. That's what you're doing in your research. You're testing the hypothesis. If you read an article and there's no hypothesis, then they can say anything. And there are many articles, unfortunately, that have either no hypothesis or unclear hypothesis. Next slide. All right, the fourth slide is going to be your methods. So describe the methods you use to test your hypothesis and the key techniques. For instance, let's say you were testing lavender on some psychological basis, whether it decreased pain or it decreased anxiety or it lessened depression. So in that case, you need to show the validated psychological methods that you used. And these are pretty easy to find for most things like pain or anxiety. You also want to share your key techniques. If you use a lot of patients and clients, then a flow chart is sometimes useful to make the audience aware of how the patients were recruited and how they were allocated to different intervention groups or a control group. And then if they were lost during follow-up, you put that, and we'll show an example of that later. That can be very, very clarifying. Finally, you want to describe the methods you used to test your hypothesis and omit minor details. They want to have the big picture. They can get those minor details in your article. Next slide. Okay, the fifth slide, walk the audience through your results in a visual sense. And this is where your graphs and charts go. You emphasize what's important, not every number. So let's say you have a chart in which anxiety decreased over time with your support of essential oils. Then you show a graph of the anxiety or pain or whatever falling, and you say this is you always point out your axes. Usually intensity or dose or degree of anxiety goes on the y-axis and time goes on the x-axis. And you don't say every number, you just say over time, uh, over 6 hours, anxiety decreased after I gave this essential oil. Next slide. Okay, the sixth slide is discussion. Just summarize your results and show, you might mention if your results are quite different from those in other similar studies, you want to mention that. Mention any unexpected findings and explain your results, what your results mean in plain language. Next slide. Okay, your conclusion, there are 2 or 3 bullet points summarizing the key takeaways. One of the things that one of my editors-in-chief taught me is, why is your work important? Why should we care about it? What is the importance of your work? And leave that with the audience. Next slide. If there is an 8th slide, you might speak to the next steps in research, open questions, potential applications. Don't say things like further research is needed. Anyone can say that. Be more specific. We need to try this with this oil, or we need to expand this for a longer period of time, or start it sooner, or something like that, or use a higher dosage or a lower dosage. Next slide. And then if there is a 9th slide, thank your collaborators and granting agencies, and then ask for questions. And that's sort of the summary. And now we are going to make such a slide deck. Next slide. All right, let's try it out. We're going to make a dummy presentation in a slide deck. Next slide. Okay, so here's my first slide that's got the topic of my presentation and who I am. Linda Lavender is a student at Gatafase School of Aromatherapy. I don't know if there is such a school, but it sounded good. Aromatherapy decreases anxiety and post-operative pain in adult women. Well, that's pretty clear. Next slide. Treating now we're going to have slide 2, and we're going to motivate our presentation. We're going to tell the background, the problem that led us to do this research. All patients require pain control after major surgery. That's true. Many patients believe that their post-op pain control was inadequate. That's true. Opioids can interrupt peristalsis and lead to incredible constipation, and they're being looked at by the federal government because of the addiction problem. Many studies have shown that essential oils can reduce both pain and anxiety, so it's a reasonable thing to test it. Next slide. Okay, here's our hypothesis. Use of an essential oil sniffer, maybe I should have said lavender essential oil sniffer, 4 times a day times 2 weeks will decrease perceived pain and anxiety by 25% in adult women after major surgery. So that's pretty clear, and it's doable and it's testable. The second hypothesis is the addition of an essential oil massage blend twice daily times 2 weeks will decrease opioid use by 33% in adult women after major surgery. That's also clearly testable. Now, if you have multiple hypotheses, you need to designate which one is your main hypothesis. If you do 100 hypotheses, something is going to turn out positive, whether it's really positive or not, or that is, whether it's a false positive or not. Next slide. Methods. If you're working with people, you have to tell who the people are. Um, Audiences for presentations are often skeptical, and if you don't tell who the people are or how the control group was chosen, they'll say, well, it could have been all the people who were destined to not have anxiety because they'd had previous major surgery. They were in a different group than the people who are very anxious. You see, uh, you have to convince the audience that you did a fair trial. What did you do as an intervention? Did you do a aromatherapy massage? Did you um, put some essential oils under your tongue? Did they smell it? What did you actually did you do? And what tests did you use to demonstrate whether there was a difference between the intervention group and the control group? Then you want to talk about blinding. If you do blinding means not what it actually says. It means that uh, it usually means that the patients, excuse me, the clients were not aware of whether they received the intervention, uh, the intervention, or they were part of the control group. If it's double blind, then the people who are writing the article did not know either. Next slide. Okay, here's a take on the methods on people. 34 women, so we named the number of women, aged 22 to 58 years. I just made all this up, but give the age range or whatever is necessary for your project, who reported anxiety and upcoming major surgery, were recruited and randomly assigned. So this randomly assigned, that is that you did the allocation to intervention group and control group randomly. That's very important. Volunteers in the intervention group were given sniffing bottles with the aromatherapy blend. Controls were given sniffing bottles with an artificial, say, jasmine scented blend. Next slide. Here's an example of the flow chart. This is from an actual article. So he says enrollment, assess for eligibility. So they took 99 people and assessed them for eligibility by some criteria. Then they randomized them. Then they allocated those clients to either bergamot. So they have two intervention groups, one with bergamot and one with grapefruit. And then they have a placebo group, a comparison group. And then they do the follow-up and they tell about who was lost to follow-up, and then they do the analysis. So that's an easy way to explain to the audience what you did with the people that you recruited. Next slide. Methods. What did you do? Okay, so we talked about the people. Now I'm going to talk about what we did with them. All volunteers were instructed to place the tip of the sniffing bottle into one nostril and then inhale 4 times deeply over 10 seconds. Now, I made these numbers up, but you see that it tells exactly what went on. Every 4 hours while awake, the trial will begin 1 week before major surgery and last for a week post-op. Next slide. Okay. Now, the analysis. You usually do summary statistics, and summary statistics means the means. So you take let's say, the anxiety score of the control group, and so you sum up, divide by the number of people, you get the mean, and then plus or minus 1 standard deviation. That's the usual and customary summary statistics. And then there's several tests that you could do, and these are usually the most common is a two-sample t-test when you're testing whether the mean of one group is equal or not to the mean of the control group. So in this little pseudo experiment that I've designed, did the aromatherapy blend decrease pain? So that's one test. Did the aromatherapy blend decrease anxiety? That's another test. And did the intervention group consume less opioids than the control group? So that's 3 tests right there. Now, make sure to use validated tests for pain and anxiety. For instance, there are several of these. For pain, you could use a Likert scale. For anxiety, you could use the GAD-7, which is readily available. One thing to do when you either write up your findings in a manuscript or you're giving a presentation, check through treats. That has a very good checklist of the things that you should think about and include in an article. You don't have to mention all those things, but it's a very good practice to just look over the treats checklist and make sure you've checked every category that you need to check. Next slide. Results. What have you found? What did you find in your analysis? Did the blend decrease pain? Did the blend decrease anxiety? Did the intervention group use less opioids? And this is the place where you show the graphs, the charts, and the tables. Next slide. Okay, discussion, you summarize your things, your research. The aromatherapy, here's one summary. The aromatherapy sniffing blend decreased pain, anxiety, and opioid use. And you'll have to do the test and show the statistics, like it decreased pain, P less than 0.05. It decreased anxiety, P less than 0.05, etc. Comparison with other studies. Other researchers have found that blends containing lavandula angustifolia reduce pain and anxiety. So you could say this bolsters the findings of these other studies, but you have to condense it. It should be no more than 45 seconds. Then you should also mention any limitations and weaknesses of your study. Now, that doesn't get you off the hook. Uh, for instance, in one very famous university, a student did a study about depression, and she just picked random names out of the phone book and called them and talked to them about their. And someone says, "Well, what about the women that don't have cell phones? Maybe they're depressed because they don't have a cell phone. I don't know." And she says, "Well, I understand the weaknesses of the study, but that doesn't, I'm glad that she understands the limitations, but that doesn't make it a good study." Next slide. Conclusion. What does it all mean? The results show that inhaling this aromatherapy blend decreased pain and anxiety before and after major surgery. The bottom line, what is the significance of this work and why should we care about it? Next slide. Okay, and then the acknowledgement and thanks if uh, if you have plenty of time. If not, you can stop that and just stop there. Next slide. Direction of future research. What other studies need to be done? Whether other essential oils, other methods of administration, other groups, whatever. Next slide. And then questions. And I think that is it. Uh, what questions do you have?
All right, thanks, Bruce. There aren't any in the chat yet. So if you have a question for Bruce, you can unmute yourself or you can put the question into the chat and I'll read it to Bruce.
I have a question. I'm Erin. I'm currently considering where to present, and I think I would like to ask, how do I go about finding a place to present?
Okay. Um, I have an excellent answer to that question. You can present at the AIA conference in September.
I knew you were going to say that. I can't go.
Right. Um, okay. There are other aromatherapy, not as good as us, of course. There are other aromatherapy organizations that have conferences and have speakers. There's also there is a let's see, it's called FASIB, Federation of American Societies of Experimental Biology. And um, all the people who are doing fellowships in Southern California send abstracts into that. And uh, only a few people are chosen for a platform presentation, but everyone else is invited to give a poster presentation. And there are hundreds and hundreds of posters, some boring, some very interesting.
Yeah. What was that one again? It was called the American Society of
uh, uh, FASIB, Federation of American Society for
Oh,
Experimental Biology. They used to, I've presented there a couple of times. They usually have their presentations, their conference in Anaheim, California.
okay. Okay, thank you.
The other thing, there's are you a nurse perchance?
I'm a doctor of acupuncture.
Oh, okay. Um, Man, I've done only one semester of uh, uh, traditional Chinese medicine school. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't. If you want to go that route, I don't. I don't know anything about their conferences.
Yeah,
Well,
I've considered that, but aromatherapy is really not a thing yet with TCM practitioners. Is really acupuncture or herbal focused. So I'm
right.
trying to like break in there. So anyway,
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fascinating because you guys learn to make mixtures with a method
mhm.
which the West doesn't have yet.
Yeah.
So I think that uh, looking at blending from a TCM uh, perspective might be very, very interesting.
Yes, yeah, agreed. And yes, I just saw a note from Kathy, and I have been talking to Amanda. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, there are some aromatherapists that dabble in TCM, but they just blend with the five element model.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, but you could do something else. I think that's very exciting, and I think you guys are actually natural allies to aromatherapists.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Good.
I think I think it's a natural link between the two.
Yeah, yeah, I
I've
do too.
practiced the two together successfully
Cool.
for many
Very
years.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank
Also,
you.
I did want to mention, have you heard of the Academy of Integrative Health and Medicine?
Oh, I have not.
Yeah, AIHM. Here, I'll put a little link in. So two groups, one that was a lot of integrative practitioners and the American Holistic Medical Association combined. I was at that conference. It was really cool. And they might be really interested in hearing what you have to say. So,
Oh,
that's
that's
another
awesome.
option. Yeah, I'll put that out there for you because that would
Thank
bring
you.
it to a bigger group. I know that when we're talking research, part of um, it's wonderful when aromatherapists are sharing with other aromatherapists, but in order to be respected in the medical community, we also need to be getting it out to them. So that might be a really great place for you to consider.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that link. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's another thing out in San Diego every fall. I think it's put on by the TCM school, Pacifica or something like that. I forget what it is.
Yeah, it's PCOM, yes.
Yeah, and I've been to that once, and it was an excellent conference. So, introducing aromatherapy to TCM practitioners might be an interesting aside too.
Yeah, there are yes, there are rumblings of that. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Other questions?
Let's see. There was
Anything,
another
Pat?
comment too. Did you see about the fact that let's see. Is it Essence of Clinical Aromatherapy, ECA? That's another option. Kathy put that in. So you might want to get in contact with her as well.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Thank you.
Yep, it's up a little further. I want to make sure you saw that. All right, anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, can we get a review of all the links posted? Sure. I'm going to put a few more in right now, and and then I'll grab the rest of them. So I do want to say thank you, everyone, for attending. We are so grateful that you're here and that you're so interested in aromatherapy research and really spreading the word. And platform presentations are a great way to do that. Thank you so much, Bruce. And our next presentation, Keep Calm and Revise, is responding to peer feedback. And that's on June 22nd, again at 5:30 Mountain Time, presented by Wendy Maddox. Also, if you wish to present a poster case study at the 2026 AIA conference, the Research Academy Mentors created a four-part series to help you with all the steps. And so the conference opportunities pages will help you get started. And that's up in the links I just put in. We have another group mentoring series about how to publish a case study beginning in August. So watch for more information about that. If you haven't published one, we have so much fun working together, and we're hoping that the information is just fun, entertaining, and really helps you put it all together, because the more case studies we can publish too, the more we're getting the word out. And so watch for that information and other upcoming Research Academy presentations and mentoring opportunities. Check out our YouTube channel if you haven't done that. It has all our previous presentations and research shorts, which are really informative. It does help us to spread the word within YouTube if you watch the presentations all the way to the end and then subscribe to our channel. And then finally, reach out to the Research Academy, research.academy@alliance-aromatherapist.org with any questions. And Bruce, lots of thank yous and great presentations. And
And for
again,
Deb, the chat should be put with this presentation. We post the chat so that all of those links will be in there for you. And usually it's posted within 5 to 6, maybe 7 days.
yeah, and if you're hoping to save it sooner on the meeting chat, if you go to the three little dots in the upper right, you can save the chat and it should save right to your computer. So that's a little.
I don't know if it saves the whole chat or if it saves where Deb came in. So she might miss a couple of the things at the very beginning, but it will give you all of the recent stuff, that everything since you came in. But the full chat should be affiliated or attached to this presentation in the Research Academy and then on the YouTube channel.
And also the YouTube channel and the AIA website have all the presentations. And we've done, how many have we done now? It's a bunch.
It is a bunch. All right. I think I've got all of the links in there. I'm pretty sure. Yep. All right. So again, thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye.
That wraps up today's session. Thanks for tuning into the AIA Research Academy. This academy exists thanks to the generous support of the Gafase Foundation and is here to make aromatherapy research fun, accessible, and relevant. Our mission is simple yet powerful: to educate, inspire, and connect a global community committed to advancing the science of aromatherapy. We envision a future where research is not just part of the conversation, but the culture. The best part? Access is completely free. Simply sign up through the link in the description box below. And if you're an AIA member, the Academy is already part of your member benefits, putting powerful resources right at your fingertips. If you're passionate about deepening your understanding of aromatherapy through research, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay connected with our latest sessions. We appreciate your curiosity, your time, and your commitment to learning.